Look, I've been in crypto for a long time. In fact, I mined my very first Bitcoin in 2011, and I sold my first Bitcoin at $10. I've started multiple $1 million crypto companies, but right now, I'm telling you, I've sold my Bitcoin and I won't be buying Bitcoin again. So let me explain why, because this isn't just a hot take. This took me 10 plus years to arrive at. You see, back then in 2017 and 2018, when I started working and investing full-time in crypto, Bitcoin wasn't just a trade to me. It was almost like a religion to me, because I was a libertarian, and still am, by the way. And Bitcoin to me was the revolution of money. It was free and permissionless. It was a break from the fiat central bank system that was built on control, power, and inflation. Bitcoin, on the other hand, was making sure that people finally would fully own the fruits of their own labor. I wasn't just excited by looking at the historical returns or price charts, because that didn't really exist. I was excited by the movement, by the fight. And that clear mission statement was exactly why I thought it would be valuable in the first place. And then because the market cap was so small back then, 100x or even 1000x return was completely possible. So for years, the story was simple. Buy Bitcoin because we're about to change the financial world. But here's the problem. We didn't actually change the world. That fight was forfeited. Bitcoin never became a better currency, and we became captured by BlackRock and Wall Street. And look, I get it. It takes time to change the financial world order. It's not a small mission that we're on, but maybe that was okay to say when it was 3 years old, or 4 or 5 years old. But it's been almost 20 years now, and people still don't want Bitcoin in exchange for their goods and services. People don't want to get paid in Bitcoin. In 20 years, we're still at that same point. 20 years. And because of the frustrating lack of real-world use, every cycle, there's a new narrative that's finally supposed to be the one that finally sends it mainstream. First, it was digital cash, what I was talking about, banking the unbanked. Then it became digital gold. And after that, it would pump because of Wall Street and ETFs. After that, it was Trump.
It's going to the moon.
Deregulation, the end of lawfare, maybe even the US government stacking Bitcoin like it stacks gold. But before all of that, we also had smart contracts. We had gaming, NFTs, L2s, meme coins. At least if you look across the wider crypto space. And I'm an engineer. I was excited about every single one of these new inventions. But looking back, they all failed. They didn't actually contribute to the mission that we were on. And at this point, it's kind of the definition of a solution looking for a problem. No one really cares about it. My friends don't care about it. My parents don't care about it. And instead, people just keep inventing new narratives to justify their purchase or the insane valuation that these things have. But Philip, you might say, Bitcoin is not a currency. It's digital property. You might have heard that from Michael Saylor.
It's global property.
But then why should I own digital property? It's back to the why. Can you explain that so my parents can understand it, my grandparents? You can't. But it's scarce. It's going to go up, you might say. But then we're also just back to the argument being number is going to go up. Instead of an actual interesting and captivating story of taking down the central banks and freeing people from fiat, which was the case when I got interested in this technology, if Bitcoin is not a revolution, it's no longer interesting to me. You know, Elon Musk, Tesla, and SpaceX, OpenAI, they're interesting investments because they do cool shit. Revolutionizing cars, going into space, building AI in space, inventing actual useful technology. Larry Fink and Michael Saylor telling me that Bitcoin outperforms the S&P.
Bitcoin is going up faster than the S&P forever.
It's not really the story I signed up for. And once again, you might say, it's only been 20 years and we're competing with gold, we're competing with central banks and banks, which has been here for thousands of years and has a track record. And to some extent, you might be right that it's early. But also, look at ChatGPT.
I love ChatGPT.
It launched in 2022, and within months, we're talking months, everyone around me had tried it.
Do you use AI?
Even my parents. Nobody needed convincing. Nobody needed an airdrop or promise of getting rich. It was useful to them. So people used it. And that's when it hit me that good technology doesn't need 20 years to find its place in the world. If something is truly useful, people show up without gimmicks. Bitcoin had 20 years, and it's still waiting for that ChatGPT moment. AI also created a very different type of challenge for crypto, and that's talent. When the crypto industry was driven by a big inspiring vision, it sucked the best talent into the industry to build out the companies, the protocols, and the applications. That's when I and so many other people joined the industry. Today, the crypto industry is competing with so many other great tech companies building at the forefront of AI, robotics, space, as I said. So today you can either join Elon Musk and build AI in space, or you can join some crypto company and build the next shitcoin perp exchange or Web3 game that no one is playing. You see the problem? Much of the best talent has already left for AI. And I predict that this is just the beginning of this problem. Because we still have great people working in the crypto space. Many of them are still my friends. And I'm not criticizing them. I understand that many people still live with this old vision and they still believe that that's the mission that they're on. I'm just saying that I don't anymore. And I predict that it's going to be a bigger problem for the industry moving forward. But then there's an obvious question. Isn't this just the normal critique we always hear at the very bottom of a bear market? Aren't you just calling Bitcoin dead just like people have every other cycle? Can it just come back like it's done every other time and pump even harder? Can there just be a next narrative that will take it to a new all-time high? I see two problems with that. First of all, what's left to pump it? We already had a sitting US president campaigning on pumping Bitcoin to the moon.
It's going to the moon.
What possible narrative can beat that? I genuinely don't know what is bigger than that. The second problem is that the returns don't really work anymore either. Look at the chart, honestly. It's a logarithmic curve now, not an exponential one. 2025's all-time high in Bitcoin was only 2x the last one. And the cycle before that, it was over 3x. So even if you nailed the perfect exact bottom in 2022 with perfect timing, you made 600%. And you might say, oh, that's a great return, 600%. Maybe it's a perfect trade, but the cycle before that, it was 1700%. Bitcoin is still today living off of the story of the guy that turned 5 grand into 5 million. But today, I think that story belongs more to Nvidia than it does to Bitcoin. So with all of this in mind, will Bitcoin still make a new all-time high next cycle? Probably, in my opinion. Probably somewhere between 60 and 40K is a reasonable bottom, at least if you look at the sentiment, because the sentiment right now is really low. It's really bad. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if we start pumping from here. But I'm not putting my money there. I've sold most of my Bitcoin in 2025 and 2026, and I've kept making gains since in gold, in silver, the S&P AI stocks, while a lot of diamond-handed Bitcoiners just watch their money sit and do nothing or go down 50%. I would suspect that even if you timed the bottom perfectly, I would suspect that we rally only to maybe 150K or something like that. And that's like a 2 or a 3x. If you nail it, you can make that perfect trade. But if you have more of a realistic trade, you're probably going to make 50% or a 2x gain, which is not a tremendous return. You can get that in many places. It's not the crazy 10x or 100x that people are really pretending like it can be.
In the year 2045, I think a Bitcoin's worth $13 million.
But then honestly, for me, it's not even about the returns anymore. It is that Bitcoin stopped exciting me. The cypherpunk fight I fell in love with 15 years ago has now turned into cheerleading for BlackRock, their ETFs, and fangirling for Michael Saylor. And the same people who used to build Ethereum, the devs, they're now building pump.fun clones.
Holy
You full clip.
holy thanks for the 20 bandos.
That's not the story I signed up for. It's not contributing to the better of mankind, which Bitcoin was here to do. And lastly, I want to be clear. Bitcoin didn't fail. And I still love Bitcoin with all of my heart. And I will always hold on to some Bitcoin. I haven't sold exactly all of it. It still does exactly what it was built to do. Immutable, permissionless money you can send to anywhere on earth. It will still do that. It will do that at $60,000. It will do it at $1 million or just $50. It works flawlessly. So Bitcoin is here to stay for the people who actually need it. I just don't believe that the story and the upside is that great anymore. If you've been in crypto since the early days, just like me, I want to hear if you agree or if you think I'm dead wrong. Drop it in the comments below. And subscribe if you want more of this. No hype, just how I actually think about Bitcoin and about money and investing.